Yeah. You can't there, but my morning.
Yeah.
So it was. It was one thing that was excellent morning. Yeah, it was, hello. How's it going? Good. Good morning. How are you? Really, we're only a game and a half up on the best record. Yes. But hoping the Dodgers. Oh, they make me nervous. Hoping the Dodgers will rise to the occasion and take, well, they still can take 2 out of 3 Phillies, but. But that's. Runners mean that. Well, they'll, I think they'll get 5, but the other. Team with the best record at the end. Me as well. Or wait for the game. I don't need a plan for your budget dreams, I got tickets, it'll be a decision, what I do. No, that would not be a good thing if they're paid. All this, all that.
There was some good news for sure. Some do some. I don't believe they did out there.
Yeah.
They took all this time here, so.
Yeah.
I think it's our. Yeah.
If I wanted to come back, it's fine. Yes.
Yeah. Over by the.
There's one of those that.
Nice, it wasn't that a part of
Like the yes.
No. It was.
Yeah, dogs were happy. And.
He offered, oh, yeah, no, but he offered to give him material for the firm.
Yeah,
That wasn't good enough.
I think that they're giving them material. And I think a lot of their landers, there's equipment.
I think that's from. Which would. Well, I was.
And not in right.
Oh. It is.
I don't understand.
I thought I had called me sister, but she made six words.
The government changed it from 30 days, so we had nothing to do with that.
That's true, yeah.
Identifying the purpose was to have a lot of people there, and not to follow the rules, really.
He'll show up in that. Not every department is actually.
Yeah, the reason for home. Yeah.
You already setting the meeting up with you? You're fighting your next course. Yeah, okay, great. What's the more of them?
Direct deposit.
11.
Okay.
You want to-
Oh, well, I know you're ready. Looking at the empty chair.
Everybody's stingy.
That's it.
Hey,
Oh,
Steven.
substitute today?
Morning. September 30th.
Even.
Thursday and Friday, got it on your calendar?
Oh, Social Security.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, fun.
Oh, interesting.
Maybe we'll get it all done in 1 day. Let's see how this goes.
Let's go.
I agree. It's gonna go smooth. Go smooth.
I was thinking about the budget, but, oh, we got.
Let's order a pizza or something.
Oh, I use that. I don't need a new battery. See, mine has plenty of out there, all that.
I thought I'd get one filled with one.
That comes after 20 years. So you got some time.
Oh my gosh, I'll never make that.
Did you get out on your bike this weekend or you know?
I leave it.
Did you take the hot rod then, or I see you? Yeah, I saw you and Kathy coming in town with your hot rod. Saturday, Sunday? Sunday.
Wonderful.
Who's the hot rod, the truck?
No, the car, the Cobra.
Thank you.
That's my favorite
Yeah,
car.
we had people saying they're.
I know some, yeah.
I know some people had to go down at man, starting in our side, the guy knows.
I'll give them your information.
You
Just walk,
And I just.
literally had a huge dump truck full of rocks.
You stop for a beer while you're at man?
Yeah, thing for its little RC, right?
So we took the kids to Art Start this weekend. They had the skate park fundraiser and they brought them all driving stuff and all this people.
We have
Yeah,
enjoy that.
Yeah, great time. Well, what's funny is they had asked.
Found that she was an old girlfriend that took away from the old high school.
Well, thanks for the. I was like. It was so, problem.
Got married.
All the equipment is gonna be at Art Start. I was like,
I didn't follow up.
oh, we'll go there.
Yeah.
Good thing you got it.
So she, yeah, she was like, oh, there's. She's like,
It's one of those great schools in the city. I play 6 kids.
Your
they're
kid.
skateboarding and.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they had great times. And one of the. Skateboard.
3 classes per room.
Yeah.
There were 3 different instructions, one of that, one.
And he's like, hold on.
All right, seeing it's 9:30, we're gonna call the September 16th county board meeting to order. There will be a brief moment of silence for our troops, law enforcement officers, the emergency responders. Followed by a prayer invocation and pledge of allegiance. Rob's gonna do the prayer first.
Heavenly Father, we've gathered today with heavy hearts, seeking an end to violence and harm in our world. Help us to recognize the beauty and diversity and unique purposes each person holds. May our hearts be filled with compassion, leading us to love and uplift those around us. Teach us to cherish every life as a precious gift from you. We pray for peace to reign in the hearts of all, for understanding to replace anger, and for love to conquer hate. May your divine light guide us towards healing and unity, and we work together to build a safer and more compassionate world. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Jason, want to do a roll call?
Showalter. Absent. Hannah, absent. Newman. Good morning, Tracy. Good morning. Schreier.
Here.
Fisher.
Here.
Hidalgo. Here. Briggs, absent. Ottinger, absent. Harris. Here. Hess.
Here.
Jensen.
Here.
Ives, absent. Sorgo.
Here.
Lopez. Here. Timmons.
Here.
Reed.
Good morning, Tracy.
Good morning. Couches.
Here.
Almakinder.
Here.
Schultz.
Here.
Cushing.
Here.
Halowinski, absent. We have 15 present and 6 absent.
All right, we have 15 present, 6 absent. We have the quorum, so we can conduct business. Announcement, please use the microphone when speaking. So everybody who can hear it and people on Zoom. Number 4, accept the minutes of the August 19, 2025 meeting.
Make a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Second, motion by Colette, seconded by Ed. Any corrections, discussions, deletions? Hearing none, everybody in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Who carries? All right, we'll move on to reports, presentation. We're gonna start with the broadband report.
Okay, and John's gonna update us and then tell me.
And that door needs to be open, because we're in. Thank you, because we're in open session.
Couple of brief comments on the project as it moves along. We
moving along pretty good up on Highway 70 in Minocqua, trying to get tied back into Pier Willow. Trying to get that connection, what we're calling Mercer Lake, that connects back down to. It ends up heading in a southerly direction along Squirrel. Back down the Pine Lake Road to the Willow Road. We continue to have nonstop issues with, not having locators. We've conveyed that, to the State Public Service Commission as a continued issue. We call in our tickets, we don't get any locates. So we are at a little bit of a standstill up there trying to get those connections made. And that's on the construction site. We are continuing to coordinate with our outside counsel, David Schultz, and now we've got Andy Captain, our new interim lawyer, court counsel. We've kept Andy in the loop on that, so that he's familiar with what's underway with that. Obviously, we did receive correspondence from Bug Tussle on having a meeting to go through what we think our deliverables are gonna be as a project. As we begin to complete the project and get that fiber connected. They have turned on some of the Lake Julia portion of the tower, or excuse me, portion of the fiber. So there is an ability for their marketing team to start selling connections. Lake Julia is simply referring to a region that includes quite a bit of the Rhinelander area. So now in addition to the Pelican Lake area, they've got the Rhinelander area to potentially sell to customers. And then we are working with Jason and also Bug Tussle on a previous discussion that we had on hooking up those laterals. Bug Tussle did respond to that we had correspondence going back to September of last year with ITS and the county. So we've been communicating with them for a full year on what Jason would like done. So and then I also have been continuing to assist the Economic Development Corporation with Beat Bob and go ahead, that's my lead in for that.
All right, good morning. So I just wanted to kind of go over the Beat Bob Awards and how it was. There's information in the letter that talks about it. The PSC, before they did their job with the Beat Bob, which is the new funding source, where it used to be just Beat, now it's the Beat Bob, so it's whatever the cheapest bid for that location, that's where they went. They did a new sweep of Oneida County before they did this, and they came up with 5,058 addresses that didn't have service, so they reduced the amount because some of the addresses in there were covered by RDOF and some of the other internet providers in the area. Oneida County basically tied for 10th most money out of the Beat Bob funding. We got a little over 18.3 million to the county in that funding. The interesting part is that we'll have another ISP in our county. Bertram Communication received 13.4 million for 2,360 locations. It's a little surprising that there's a new internet service provider in town, but when we did the resolution in front of the board for the BEAD, Bertram was our second choice. We had considered going with them. There's a lot of things they offer. Their technology needs to be a little more advanced than other people, so we're happy with the Bertram situation. And the nice part is that all of Bertram's location has to be fiber to the home, which is key, because we prefer everybody get fiber to the home, because that's the gold standard. And so those residents that will have Bertram will get fiber to the home. Bug Tussle got just about $4.8 million in the Beat Bob. The problem with this is that they bid fiber to the home, and they also did a fixed wireless. So they got 2,647 locations. So we don't know at this time how many of those folks will get fiber to the home or get wired, wireless service, fixed wireless. So a little concerned about that. And then 51 locations got Starlink. Starlink got $76,500 for the county. Starlink got money in all counties but 7, which is interesting. And the ISP in the state of Wisconsin that got the most money was Bertram. Bertram totally in their package got $161 million out of the $690 million that the county or the state allocated. So, there must be a lot of faith there. Totally, Buck Tussle got about, 87.8 million in comparison. And then with Bertram, which I figured you guys would wanna know, is that we were the 4th largest award for Bertram. The largest award for Bertram, which was kind of interesting because I don't think of this county as maybe needing broadband as bad as the Northwoods do, is Dane County. Dane County got 16.8 million for Bertram. So those are the facts. We're still weighing things out. The other thing we're waiting to find out is there's $310 million that the county or the state didn't spend because we got a little over $1 billion in this package. So we don't know where that 310 million, does it go back to money left on the table that we don't know at this time where that 310 million goes? Questions?
Any questions for anybody on the broadband report? Must have covered it pretty good, no question.
Thank you.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to the 2024 planning and zoning annual report. I guess Todd's here for that, or who's gonna give the report?
Leave Todd.
Todd.
Good morning, everyone. Yeah, so basically, I'm kind of filling in for Carl. I didn't know if there's anything specific that, question wise for me on the, report, on the annual report.
Does that mean, excuse me, does anybody have any questions or concerns with the report? There none, then I guess, thank you.
Great job.
We want the meeting, we need the meeting to go a little longer.
Right, you know.
Great.
Thanks for the short review. All right, now we'll go number 6 on the agenda, public comment. Public comment is limited to 3 minutes. And there is a form on the podium, please sign in when you're speaking. So anybody like to do public comment? And then also state your name and where you're residing.
My name is John Webar, Lake Tomahawk. I'm here to discuss this virus that we have in Northwoods Airbnb. And not only myself, but all the people in the area, it's a virus and it's a bad virus. And the biggest issue is we always hear that they're in the works of housing, trying to get housing for people to come up here. And the biggest problem is we have no one to live or work up here. Now, I'll give you an example. My wife works at a business where they can't hire anybody because there's no housing for the people to live in. People are closing their businesses because they can't get help. All I hear is it's in the state's hands. Well, I think the county somehow needs to start and be the first to make a change and try to get rid of this virus. My wife recommended that maybe there could be a limitation, kind of like a liquor license, to where each town or township or county has so many Airbnb license that is issued, and it's set at that. To control it. What these owners pay in permit fees is ridiculous for what they make in the long term. I know of some owners that have applied for VA loans that are running Airbnb homes. VA loan, you're supposed to be a resident there. And like I say, it's just totally out of control. There's no respect from these visitors. And it's like they're in and out and they trash the area. And you deal with new neighbors every week. The dogs, the issues we have. And there's no solution to anything. It's just ongoing. And I really think the housing, everything that goes on the market is sucked up. And a lot of these people don't even live in the area. They live out of state. They make a ton of money. And us as residents that live around here, I could care less to be charging $10,000 a year for a permit. Don't make that up in 2 weeks in the summertime. It's a 2-week rental for that. You know, I don't know what the county can do. I've been in the planning and zoning. They suggested I come to the county level. And obviously, my next step will be at Lake Tomahawk's meeting. But I don't know what we can do, but something's gotta be done because it's a virus. Thank you.
I thank you. Anybody else like, for public comment?
Good morning. I'm Jack Sharp. I live at 6975 Winkler Road in Highlands. Good morning and thank you for the opportunity to speak. I'm here today to ask you to vote no on resolution 63, 2025 and allow the full county board to finally have a proper discussion about the proposed amendment to the tourist rooming house ordinance. The ordinance presents a simple fix. Allow one rental per 7-day period, regardless of whether it's for 2 nights or for 6. It does not change density. It does not increase turnover. It keeps the existing cap of 52 rentals per year exactly as it is. What it does do is give property owners the flexibility to host shorter stays, like weekends, without adding any more guests, activity, or traffic than is currently permitted. At the Planning and Zoning Committee public hearing last month, 4 out of 5 members spoke in favor of this amendment. They understood the logic, they supported the flexibility, and then at the last minute, the conversation pivoted. Not on the merits of the policy, but because it upset Minocqua. The solution offered instead, just rezone. 3 Lakes was first told to rezone in 2023. We've been asking for a more workable solution ever since. So let's not pretend that this was a brand new idea, nor is it feasible for small towns like ours or the other 3 townships who sent in letters of support for this amendment. Redrawing maps, updating comprehensive plans, scheduling public hearings, that's months or years of work. And in communities with volunteer plan commissions and 1 or 2 town staff, that's not just a bureaucratic delay, it's an undue burden. For towns like ours, creating an entirely new zoning district is not a realistic or equitable path forward, especially when a single sentence change in the ordinance could solve the problem. Meanwhile, our businesses lose out. Our visitors get pushed across the county line to Vilas County, where they can experience the same chain of lakes and national forests, but are welcomed by the local government. That decision has real economic consequences. The average overnight visitor spends $219 a day, compared to just $75 for a day tripper. That's a 66% loss in local spending that directly impacts our businesses and your tax base. In a county where 1 in every 5 sales tax dollars comes from direct visitor spending, that's a loss we cannot afford. The argument that a 6-night minimum somehow protects single-family residential neighborhoods simply doesn't hold up. It's not the length of stay that impacts the neighbors, it's how the property is managed. And if our goal is truly to protect neighborhoods and housing, then we should be enforcing policies that matter. Things like occupancy limits, noise control, and trash management. Other counties do this effectively. We can too. If your concern is that short-term rentals are taking away from year-round resident housing, look to Bailey's Harbor, a town with Village Powers in Door County. Bailey's Harbor allows short-term rentals of fewer than 7 days, but only if the property is owner occupied. That's an actual targeted neighborhood protection, not a blanket length of stay. And ordinances like this allow Minocqua to address their concerns while protecting their single family housing.
All right, your 3 minutes are up, so
Thank you.
thank you. Anybody else for public comment?
My name is Bob Clark and I live in Minocqua. We, early today, we had a prayer. We also did the Pledge of Allegiance. In the prayer, we said to have compassion, be kind to one another, to be good humans. We also talked about in our pledge being indivisible, being one nation under God, for liberty and justice for all. I have papers here that I have provided to everybody here that shows two different maps. These maps are largely different. They are exactly what I have been arguing about since day one. I was told for 2 years that my complaints were baseless. A second map was held for me. When I got a hold of that second map, I asked for a retrial or a redrawing of the report that was done. I did it at the zoning committee office, as I was informed to do. 2 hours later, I was arrested. I have it right here. You have people on this board that came to my house and said that they didn't see this. It's in paper, it's in physical evidence that you can go and see, you can go and see it right now. And if this people that, sir, you keep running your mouth, you're gonna go to jail, you'll go to jail. Because you wanna talk about this committee, and you wanna talk about something that's going on, I've sent everybody in this conference these maps. I've asked for assistance from everybody, and nobody even wants to say a thing. I've asked everybody in this office to come to my house and look, nobody wants to do it. I'm gonna face a judge, I'm going to court. Because of bullshit that was made up to protect one of your buddies. You came to my house, I talk to you every day, Mr. Creed, every day. I talk to you, and you came to my house and you gave me a bunch of bullshit, and this all shows you. that it's all order. Okay, I apologize, you're sending me to jail, you're sending me to jail for lying.
Right.
And if I can't swear, I apologize, I'm upset. But if you're gonna send people to jail in this county, nobody's gonna wanna use these Airbnbs, nobody's gonna wanna come and spend their time at these businesses. I don't understand, I got the exact same report. Mr. Trusky's been to my house, I guess 4 or 5 times, I'm not aware of it. I got the same report that you guys got today, nothing, 0, no pictures, no evidence, nothing. I have the county director and I have the county assistant director and I have my councilman at my house tell me that I'm full of baloney. And right here, it's all right here, in black and white, in brown, in yellow, everybody sees it and nobody wants to acknowledge it. I want to say thank you. Thank you, Mr. Freed, for doing absolutely
All right, sir,
nothing but causing me problems.
3 minutes are up.
I understand, I appreciate you, thank you, have a great day.
All right, any other public comment?
The House of Dan, you can find it on Facebook, the House of Dan, you'll find all these
Sir, you're done,
pictures,
okay?
all this.
Sir, you had your chance. All right, any other thing for public comment? Nobody else for public comment? All right, then we'll move on to the consent agenda.
Motion to approve the consent agenda as presented. Second.
Motion by Rob to set the consent agenda, second by Dan, I believe. Any issues with anything being pulled or anything, or? Hear none? Roll.
Schultz,
Aye.
Jensen,
Aye.
Reed,
Aye.
Condado,
Aye.
Hess,
Aye.
Lopez. Aye. Couches,
Aye.
Schreier,
Aye.
Almakinder.
Aye.
Timmons,
Aye.
Cushing,
Aye.
Newman. Sorgal,
Aye.
Harris,
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
We have 6 absent, 15 ayes.
15 ayes, 0 nays. Motion carries. Move on to number 8, consideration of resolutions and ordinance, resolution number 60, 2025, offered by Supervisor Stephen Schreier to appoint Tad Lynch as the Oneida County Corporate Counsel. We will need a second for this,
I'll second.
seconded by Rob. All right, Stephen?
I don't have any particular details to give you other than what's spelled out in the actual resolution. If anyone has any questions, I guess we'll endeavor to answer those, but otherwise.
Chad
And then
is here.
Chad is here also. So I mean, Chad would like to come up and introduce himself.
Good morning, Chad Lynch. Currently Vilas County Corporation Counsel, I worked for Oneida County. April 2021 until December 2023, so. Happy to answer any questions if anyone has any questions.
Any questions for Chad? Any other discussion on the motion? Here none, Chrissy, call the roll.
Timmons,
Aye.
Cushing,
Aye.
Reed,
Aye.
Harris.
Aye.
Newman.
Aye.
Condado,
Aye.
Jensen,
Aye.
Hess,
Aye.
Couches,
Aye.
Lopez.
Aye.
Sorrel,
Aye.
Almakinder.
Aye.
Schreier,
Aye.
Schultz,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
15 ayes, 6 absent.
15 ayes, 0 nays, motion carries. Congratulations, Jen.
Thank you.
All right, move on to resolution 61, 2025, offered by the supervisors of the executive committee to approve the 2026 to 2029 deputy association contract. Billy?
Yeah, I think you're all aware of that we were in negotiations, late in the summer. We're proud to bring this contract forward for you to, approve, recommend approval. Oneida County has always been, supportive of law enforcement, and I think this contract hopefully gives the sheriff the tools, one of the tools in the tool chest to work to fight all the challenges that they have. We're very proud of the people that work for Oneida County, specifically in law enforcement. And this is a 4-year contract, which is nice for budgeting. So we got that kind of set in stone as we move forward. And if there's any questions, I see the sheriff's in the house, as well as myself can answer any questions or concerns you might have.
All right, any questions or concerns? Resolution, Stephen?
No questions or concerns, just a comment, if I may. I had never endeavored to take part in one of these negotiations. It was a very interesting process. I wanted to thank those members who took part in that, including the association, as well as numerous members of the executive committee, our administrative coordinator, and our HR department. We're very fortunate to be able to get this under the wire before we lost our HR director, and we were grateful that this transpired in what was considered a relatively painless and quick process from what I understand. So I'm glad that we were able to come to a resolution that's before you that was equitable, and everybody seems to be pretty happy with the outcome of that. There were not a lot of changes asked for, and frankly, the negotiation was relatively simple and straightforward, to be perfectly honest. So you can all take pride in what you have in front of you, and I think we did our best job on behalf of the constituents of Oneida County.
All right, anybody else have any comments, questions, concerns? Hearing none, we'll call the vote.
Condado,
Aye.
Newman,
Aye.
Schreier,
Aye.
Simmons,
Aye.
Hess,
Aye.
Harris. Aye. Reed,
Aye.
Almakinder,
Aye.
Pushing,
Aye.
Couches,
Aye.
Schultz,
Aye.
Jensen,
Aye.
Lopez,
Aye.
Sorrel,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
15 aye, 0 nays, 6 absent.
All right, 15 ayes, 0 nays. Motion, our resolution passes unanimously. All right. Resolution number 62, 2025, offered by the supervisors of the executive committee to approve a memorandum of understanding MOU by and between Forest, Oneida, and Vilas counties relative to the closeout of fiscal activity following the December 31st, 2024 withdrawal from the Tri-County Human Services Board. Billy again?
This has been talked about over the last year and a half. Basically, this resolution gives our county board chair and our finance director, who is online if there's some questions, the ability to start dispersing some of the leftover funds. Anything you wanted to add, Tracy?
No, I don't, yeah, it really deals predominantly with the leftover funds and just a very few assets. The rest has been previously handled. And gives us a plan for the next 20 years to deal with claims.
All right, any comments, questions, concerns with the resolution? Hearing none, I get to. No.
Okay, Newman, oh, wait. Newman?
Aye.
Almakinder,
Aye.
Pushing,
Aye.
Jensen,
Aye.
Condado,
Aye.
Harris,
Aye.
Sorrel,
Aye.
Schultz,
Aye.
Lopez, Aye. Schreier,
Aye.
Simmons,
Aye.
Couches,
Aye.
Reed,
Aye.
Hess,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
15 ayes, 0 noes, 6 absent.
Again, 15 ayes, 0 noes. Resolution passes unanimously. Resolution number 63, 2025, recommending denial of ordinance amendment number 6-2025. Offered by the supervisor of the Planning and Development Committee, recommending denial of the resolution to amend chapter 9, article 5, section 9.58 towards removal. I believe, Dan, you're taking this one in the absence of Scott?
I believe so. This came before the Planning and Development Committee. Some towns were for it, some were against it. It came back where we decided to go with a no on it. Based on 3 criteria listed below. We'd like to acknowledge that the housing shortage and concerns that many townships and constituents have concerning the issue. The concerns that many townships and constituents have concerning with projecting in the single family zoning district. And we would recommend creating an additional zoning district for towns that to adopt that would like to allow no more than 1 rental per 7-day period.
Any comments, questions, Colette, I guess?
Yes, the solution he has is very cumbersome for the town. You heard Jackie earlier tell about all the steps we have to make. I respectfully urge you to consider modifying the ordinance to allow 1 rental per 7-day period, which preserves the intent of the current law, allowing a 2 or 3 night rental or weekend stays. This common sense solution supports the local economies, tourism, and property owners alike, while limiting turnover and disruption in our single-family residential areas.
No questions? Yeah. Rob, watching back there.
I guess a couple of things here, I guess I'm a little confused on some of this. And, I mean, personally, would I like it if I had one next to me? Probably not. And yet, the state does allow it for 7 days, correct?
Correct.
And, I appreciate the housing shortage. But I can just share with you a 50-foot lot next to me. Maybe 120 feet deep by 135 feet deep, sold for $340,000. I don't know if these properties are taking away from the housing shortage of people to come in and work in Oneida County. I don't know that. I don't know what the average price is in 3 Lakes, Eagle River, Lake Tomahawk, Rhinelander. So I'm a little bit concerned about how it affects the shortage. I don't think we can tell somebody that has a seasonal home here in Oneida County that they shouldn't, and that it has to be a full-timer. So I guess I'm a little conflicted on that. I guess I'd like to know, this is purely from representing District 11, how many complaints have come in that affected the town of Crescent? I don't know how that would be difficult to find out how many complaints come in. I think obviously Minot would be greater than the town of Crescent, but getting some of that data. And then lastly, I don't quite understand number 3 as to how would that get implemented if this got passed? How does, for instance, the town of Crescent create a new zoning area? And I guess maybe someone from planning and zoning could explain that. And the other thing I don't know is, do we require all the advertisements to say 7 days? I don't know. One of the questions came up with enforcement. If we were to allow this, how do you enforce that? Rob Jensen has a temporary rooming house, but I rent it for 3 days over Labor Day weekend, and then I rent it for 3 more days in that week. How do they know now that they don't, in that 7-day period, rent it to more than 2 people? I guess those are my questions. And maybe Dan's here, so.
I'll explain a couple of things. So the Newbold committee first voted it to the town board to have it go through as is our town board voted it down minus me. I don't see a huge difference with it. One rental per 7 days is basically what you got now. And I've said that in the zoning meetings. Enforcement, I think Todd would have to answer that question. I asked how many complaints we actually get from tourist rooming houses, so we have an idea. I don't know if Todd has that number. Is Todd still here?
Approximately 100 a year.
Out of all townships.
Yeah.
Okay. And is it related to longer stays or
It's all over the board, some longer stays, other,
shorter stays?
yeah, noise complaints, things that we don't really regulate, yeah, it's all over the board for what complaints actually come in.
Okay. So I don't know what the zoning district would entail. It was brought up by Mr. Halowinski. And it was voted to vote this down and look into that further. Obviously, it's been looked into by Three Lakes, and that seems quite burdensome.
Yes.
And I, as a town official as well, I feel it would be pretty burdensome for the town to rezone all areas related to the one rental per 7 days. Does that answer your question?
Well, basically,
I mean, this discussion helps me understand.
I think what this is saying that, you know, right now you can only rent it by the week. That's it, letting them carve for
Yes.
a 3-day rental, correct? So then, but it will still be only one, 3 to 4 day rental in that week, so basically maybe it could be less people there, less time, I guess. If people follow the rules.
And I think with the change of society, how it goes right now, people are coming up for the weekends.
Yeah.
I mean, they're in kids' sports nonstop, they can't come up here for a full week at a time, so I understand that aspect of it as well.
I'd like to know if those 100 complaints, are those 100 different people, or are they just 100 complaints? Cause, you know, sometimes there might be certain people that'll call multiple times, and that might change the statistics a bit.
Right, yeah, I obviously wouldn't know the
You don't know,
detail
okay.
right off the bat, but I would say that maybe. I'm just gonna throw out a number. 5% are probably too.
Really? I'm a little confused by the conversation. This resolution, it seems to be a quirk of our process where this discussion that we're having was similar to, I think, what we were talking about when the resolution first came before us. And then got denied, which the process kicked it back to zoning. Planning and zoning to come up with a resolution to bring it back to confirm the denial. So I think what it's asking is, okay, you guys voted no, you're just confirming you're voting no, which I thought was very evident when we had more supervisors here at the county board to do it. Doesn't make, you know, the wording. You heard someone today in public comment talk about the concern they have in single family. If any of you can tell me you've had someone that lives in a single family call you to support this, I'd love to hear that, because I've had no one, not one person asked me to change any of the wording. The discussion is always, how can we limit it more? How can we get it out of single family? So I hope you will support the denial, which was supported by this county board a month ago. That's my comment.
Carl did have quite a few letters that Scott Halowinski and he got in support of moving to the one rental per 7-day period. So there were quite a few letters that he had.
Really?
In the correspondence that I received in emails and the ones that I was exposed to at planning and zoning seem to all come from, I can't confirm. But I believe it just represented people that were renting in single family.
The other comments? Oh, sorry, Dan.
Yeah, I live on Lake Catherine in Hazelhurst. We have a home alongside of us that is a corporation shared by 8 families. We're talking about short-term rentals. And we have an understanding with these people that if they don't like things we're doing, they come and tell us. If we don't like things they're doing, we go tell them. We get along fine. The town plan commission supported the support of going to what Three Lakes wants to do. The town board voted in support of it. And we had people sitting there because this came up during quite a vociferous town board meeting with over 100 people there. And nobody got up in that crowd and made any comment about it. So I'm gonna just tell you, I'm supporting the way the plan commission voted and the way town board voted.
Right, any other? Diana?
I just wanna clarify. So voting yes is a denial. Voting no isn't actually changing anything at this point, it's just not supporting the denial.
It's my understanding that yes vote. It's my understanding that yes vote, if yes vote goes, this is kind of a dead issue, it's not coming back anymore. A no vote would let it go through another process again. Am I correct on that, Andy?
Yes. I mean, the state statute allows for enacting.
Hey, Rob.
So the state statute allows for saying no to any change. It allows for saying, yes, we want to change, come back with that change. It also has the ability to say, we don't like this particular change, come back with a different change. That's what the state statute allows. Explaining that more clearly than it is. We're working
That
in
makes sense.
kind of the negative.
The double negative.
So it's a little.
It is confusing.
Today, if you vote to pass this resolution, there's no change being made to your ordinance.
Right.
If you vote to deny the resolution, then it has to go back to the planning to put forward something. And you can also have a vote that would be a clear direction to come back with something different. We don't like this particular change, but we do want a change of some nature. And that gets really complicated, obviously, because you're gonna have to form some form of motion that actually sends a direction back to the committee. But that's always an option for a board, tell a committee, we want you to do something specific. It does get complicated, and then you get into all the parliamentary procedures of modifications and changes, and I find that to be a nightmare because it's confusing. So, just try to keep those clear as you, and those are what you want to have accomplished.
I wanna go to number 3 on here. The planning development, we recommend creating an additional zoning district for towns to adopt that would like to allow. So we're recommending the towns, we're not requiring this to be done, correct? And then 2, to allow no more than 1 rental per 7-day period. And that's a current ordinance.
No.
So if we pass this, then we're having no more than 1 rental per 7-day period, but that rental could be for 4 days.
No,
It says 1 rental
that's what they want.
per 7-day period. So if I'm renting it. See, to me, I can read that and say, okay, 1 rental per 7, I'm gonna have 1 rental per 7-day period, but it's only for 4 days. And I meant this language. That's the way I read this.
So currently, the code states tourist rooming house rentals of 6 consecutive days or less are prohibited. So this would change that language to tourist rooming house rentals shall be limited to no more than 1 rental per 7-day period. So that you could do less than 7 days under the proposed new language. The old language says you cannot do it for less than 7 days.
But this is,
So you can't make them.
this is being recommended. But it's not changing the county code at this point.
Correct.
Right.
So
I guess the way, I don't know why we, Citra, what's
So
that?
basically now you can't block out 3 days. You have to rent it for the 7 days.
No, this would allow me to rent it for 4 days.
Right, the new zoning.
With this amendment, yes.
If they change it.
If we change it. Otherwise, the other one says, no, you can't block out 3 to 4 days. You have to do the whole week. I mean, it's, yeah. All right, Bob.
We recommended creating a new zoning districts for the towns to adopt, so they could opt into a system where they can have one rental per week, 2 days, 3 days. Some of the towns don't want this, we don't wanna force it on all the towns. We're giving the towns the opportunity to adopt their own if they want it, but not forcing it on the towns that don't want it. There's a lot of towns in the county that don't want it.
Right.
So this gives the towns the opportunity to adopt that new zoning district so they can have the one rental per 7 days. We represent 21 towns here.
I guess from a town perspective, how cumbersome is that? And I mean,
There's already districts in the county. The downtown Monaco is one of those districts. Downtown Lake Tomahawk is one of those districts. Downtown Woodruff is one of those. We can adopt those different districts to accommodate this for those towns.
Hey, Michael, you have a comment?
Yeah, so the original ordinance that we saw was just giving the county options. Like towns already have the ability to enact stricter ordinances. Minocqua already has a strict ordinance, Woodruff already has a strict ordinance. There's nothing that prohibits them with the original draft, not what this is today. So I guess I'm opposed to this recommended new zoning district. It is going to be onerous on our towns, and they already have the ability to restrict it further if they so wish. All we would do if we actually pass the original resolution that Colette was talking about is giving everyone in the county options. Towns are then, it's up to them to decide.
No, we force it on all the towns. If we adopt that resolution, we force it on all 21 towns.
All right, Bob, Andy?
So
recognize that the whereases are just explanation, they aren't the directive. The 2 paragraphs to look at are the resolved paragraphs. First, in resolve to deny the ordinance amendment in 06/2025. And then again, it just repeats that it's denied in the second resolve. So it's not my favorite way of wording something like this. But essentially, you're just confirming a denial of that previous resolution. It was voted down, is what I'm told. I didn't look at the history. So you're just confirming that voting down. The whereases are just directives of, hey, you guys still have these options you can look at. So voting for this, keep things at a status quo as they currently are. You can vote this down, and then the question is, which way does this go? Does the committee have to do something? Coming back with just a resolution that says we want these one rental per 7 days, or do they come back with something different? That would be the 2 options if you vote against this resolution. If you vote for this resolution, status quo, everything's done. Ordinance is staying as it is.
All right, Diana was next person. All right, Diana?
The additional zoning district, it doesn't already exist. They would have to create it, right? It'd have to be like tourist rooming house district, right?
Yes.
And then what does that, maybe Todd could answer, what does that process look like? Is it just a form? I mean, I'm sure it's not just a form. Is there a public hearing? I don't remember how the towns actually can enact that. For Billy.
Well, I just wanted to clarify something, and Todd can tell me if I'm correct.
Todd, you can come up to the podium if you'd like, so you can talk in the microphone.
I believe Mr. Talshis is correct, that towns can be more restrictive. Question always comes to enforcement. That's why you want a new zoning district, because then the county will enforce. Monaco always wanted not have these semi-trailers parked as storage things. We had it before us a year and a half ago. It wasn't a good fit for the whole county. County told the town of Monaco, you want some of these things in your town, we'll let you create a new zoning district, call it blue, white, red, Philly Freeze District, whatever. And in this one, they're asking, they're saying, and I believe the verbiage when we were talking about it was from Mr. Holowinski was, the town said, oh, it's real onerous to do it on our half. And Scott directed the zoning director, you take it on, let them tell you what they want, and we'll do some of the onerous work, not that it's simple. It does require a public hearing, I believe. Anytime you change, if I live in a zoning district and it's gonna be changed, they have to have a public hearing and it needs to be allowed for public comment to make sure the people in the district are okay with the change. So I just wanted to clarify that, if I did that right. I think the enforcement is the key, because the county will enforce it if you have a zoning district that the county recognizes.
Yeah, it always comes down to enforcement and, to me, this is a similar thing, some of the supervisors here. Who have been in planning and zoning, on the committee before, might remember our overlay districts that we used to have. For, certain towns wanted minimum housing sizes, minimum house sizes. And so it would be a similar type of situation to that, where we would, you know, like Billy was saying, we would develop, you know, in single family 02A. And then, you know, all the other districts that would apply to that, like residential farming. I can't remember the other ones, would also have to be set up in the same way. And you have to be a separate district within that already created district as well.
Right, Rob? Yeah, it's a big question for Andy. So if I vote yes on this. A town could, let's say, have a resolution that all temporary room houses in the town or whatever, can have 1 7-day rental. And then it becomes the town's responsibility to enforce that. That wouldn't be something that then the county would enforce. It would be probably the town would have to do that, because now it's a town resolution that's more restrictive than the county. Is that fair to say that if I voted yes, then the towns have the option to be more restrictive?
Less.
They're less restrictive if they choose. But they possibly may then have enforcement responsibilities.
Right.
Yeah, okay. So we're actually empowering towns.
Not really.
No.
Some might argue that you're talking burden to the towns and then to make a decision, since you're just standing by your status quo. You vote yes on this resolution, status quo stays. As everything currently is, and then if somebody wants something different, they're gonna have to come at it from a different approach. Whether it be specifically a town. Or not, whether it comes back in some form of a different concept for the full county to look at. That's the future.
All right, Steven. This happens more often than I like. As a representative Rhinelander, frankly. This puts me in a position where I'm deciding on something that really does not pertain to the city, because we have our own zoning. Yet. I'm listening to the debate. My biggest concern with what I've heard so far personally is that there's the potential to have 21 different zoning ordinances that planning and zoning would have to enforce. Am I wrong? Because I don't think the towns are going to enforce this. It's going to be planning and zoning, unless there are towns who have their own planning and zoning enforcement. I'm guessing this is mostly gonna be dumped on an already pretty overburdened department. To ask them to keep track, oh, so-and-so called, no, where do they live? Are they in that district that was created? No, I guess no. I mean, I think this is overly burdensome on not only the department, but also on the towns as well, to say, figure out what you want. Well, what if they don't get unanimous support? Is it just shot down? Then what do they do? Do they come back to planning and zoning all over again to try and solve an issue that they have? I feel like this is gonna be a cyclical pattern with rooming house, period. I don't know how this is really impacting the city. We do have a very small contingent of people that don't like it.
They're relatively vocal, but at the same time, I don't know that they really moved the dial. I think they've taken the issue up. But what it comes right down to is, we also have another branch of enforcement that the majority of towns don't have. Most towns don't even have a constable anymore, there's, I don't know, maybe one or two. So I don't know how you would enforce those other things that people have the majority of the issues with, which is usually barking dogs, noisy people past certain hours. You know, the things that you don't really want when you're living next to a rooming house. Of course, you can certainly have those with anyone. They don't have to be a rooming house occupant. It can just be a neighbor who, that's the way they live, and you deal with it. I don't know that what was proposed and that we sent back to committee was necessarily something that was a solution. It sounds like there's a solution, but it is onerous on the towns. I don't know that that necessarily means that that should predicate us reconsidering something just for that reason, though. I mean, I would like to feel that I can recognize and empathize, but at the same time, I'm not sure that regardless of how we vote on this, we're gonna make anyone really happy, is what it comes down to. So we have to live with the, you know, live with the knowledge that's presented within the actual resolution itself. How many people showed up? How many people spoke to this at the hearings, etc. It's a pretty small number of people, to be honest. I don't know at what level they spoke at their towns. I don't know if that was shared in here. Apparently, you know, if I want to, I could look into that. I didn't know that it would be that important, to be quite honest, to drill down that far into the matter. Ultimately, at the end of the day, I don't know that I necessarily have a particular concern or an issue with the denial. It's just that we do have to recognize that it's probably not gonna make a certain percentage of people happy. And when it's also probably gonna embolden some others to feel like, well, at least I forestalled that for the foreseeable future. But I don't see this issue going away. I really don't. I think Airbnbs and tourist rooming houses is going to be one of the more contentious issues that we're gonna be dealing with in the foreseeable future.
Collect first and then we'll give you a Billy.
We had 4 towns send letters of support, 4 send letters of non-support, and the rest said nothing. So what we're asking for is the board to talk about this more. And if you vote no today, it does come back and we can have more discussion.
Billy first and we'll get you Dan.
Final comment, the onerous procedure can be done before next spring. I mean, we're talking about a public hearing, which is the most important element of it. Because even you speak of, you know, either way we go, we're not gonna make someone happy. By creating their own zoning districts and having those public hearings, those people affected in those zoning districts will have an opportunity to come speak in support or against. My perception has been the ones for it have been those that have owned property and are renting it. Those against it are those that are single family living in their house year round. But I think that's the nice thing that everyone could hang their hat on, is that the process allows for those directly affected to have a voice and make a decision.
Dan?
My question is for Andy, if a township has a less restrictive town ordinance, so they have the one rental every 7 days versus the county ordinance, the county can still enforce their ordinance in the town, correct?
Right.
So town having a different ordinance doesn't matter to the counties.
All right, Bob.
One last comment. I don't know how many of you ever lived next to a tourist rooming house, but I have. I've had 20 different neighbors every summer. Some of them partying at 2 o'clock in the morning when I'm trying to get up. So I know what I'm talking about.
All right,
You know, Kyle, you're kind of looking like you want to say something.
I want, but it's fine. I've dealt with this stuff directly, so. I've been doing all the fire inspections for our town, for the Airbnb, those are the only people that have been for it. Yesterday I was mowing roadsides and 3 people in one subdivision came out, they didn't know who I was, they just wanted to vent. And they were against it, they want to try to stop it somehow, some way in their subdivision, so. And then I explained to them of what I, who I was and stuff, and it is coming forward, so. I haven't heard any support besides the people that actually own the houses, so. It's been very tough.
But we're not asking to change the state law. We're asking to look at how you interpret the 7 days or 7 days or less. We're not trying to get rid of tourist rooming houses. That's not the intent of this. The intent of this is to be able to do it in an easy manner that helps the county, that helps the people who live here.
And I guess this, I'm going to collect arms and nails.
I know, we women all look alike.
Right. Sorry.
I just at the risk of carrying this on 1 minute further. I do want to thank our corporate counsel today because he said in the fewest amount of words what this meant and what each vote meant that made it understandable. And I mean, hanging on to everybody's words is very important, but it does roll into now, what is it that I'm supposed to vote on here? And I just want to thank you for doing your job so effectively today.
And I guess. This issue is because 3 Lakes doesn't have a hotel. This is how this all started. I was on that tourist room house and task force. Was it done already, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever it has been. And that was what was brought up back then, create your own zoning district. And as we left that task force, and I'll tell you, once we started diving into stuff, it was, you corrected one problem, but created 6. So like Steve says, I don't know, this is a tough decision. I mean, it really is. And, a lot of people come out and spoke against tourist room housing. I mean, some of the zoning meetings, people speak out against them. Our property is getting sold up. It's getting overvalued because people are buying tourist room houses to make that extra money on it. I just own a resort. I wish I could have get what they give me. I can't, So, yeah, I mean, with that being said, I mean, it's nothing that's gonna probably not go away.
One last comment, even if we had a hotel, it wouldn't be enough rooms for the events we have in the area. We still would have questions on can people rent for less than a week? Because families come up for baseball, we have a lot of activities and no place. So the hotel would help, but it's not the only reason we want this. We need more rooms in our county.
So, oh, sorry, Lenore.
So, I agree with the housing shortage issue. However, this doesn't alleviate the housing shortage issue. Does it encourage more people to purchase homes to make them tourist rooming houses? I don't think so. And then, where did all those motorcycles stay? Right, if they're not here all week. They were in your garage. I'm just asking, I mean, it was only a weekend that they were here, correct? Were they staying at these tourist rooming houses or did they build up hotels? Cause they sure didn't see like all the hotels in Minocqua filled with bikes. So they must have been staying somewhere. So again, it would come down to enforcement.
Right.
Okay, all right, thank you.
All right, any other questions, comments, concerns? Is everybody kind of clear on how they vote?
Absolutely not.
Right.
One more over here.
All right, go ahead, Michael.
To get your question, Schreier and Timmons. I went to both Minocqua and Woodruff town meetings where this was being discussed. In my recollection, there was not a single individual who came to spoke in favor or against at these meetings. There's no one. But to be clear, voting no on this just sends it back to planning and development to continue working on it, correct?
Correct, with the opportunity to bring a resolution back with the change. Or, well, bring the resolution back to the original resolution back, I believe.
If you vote yes on the resolution, it keeps the status quo, denies any changes. If you vote no on the resolution, there is the option to just leave it open-ended and then expect planning and zoning to pick it up and come back with either the petition as it is, as a resolution, changing the ordinance, or you can send it back with a motion saying, we want you to look at doing it in a different way. So there are those options of, if you vote no on this resolution, of either just leaving it to planning and zoning to bring it back without any further direction, or sending it back by voting no and saying, we want you to do something different and give them specific directions. That would be another vote after the resolution, depending on how it turns out.
Right. Said we're ready to vote or. As you have done yet. No, sorry. All right, here none, guess Chrissy call, go for the vote.
All right, Hess,
No.
Schultz,
No.
Cushing,
No.
Timmons. Timmons, oh, sorry, I didn't know if you were.
I heard. No.
Jensen,
No.
Schreier. Condado,
No.
Sorbo,
No.
Newman,
No.
Lopez,
No.
Couches,
No.
Harris,
No.
Almakinder,
Yes.
Reed,
Aye.
Fisher,
No.
we have 3 ayes, 12 noes, and 6 absent.
So, as long as the resolution does fail. All right. And on the next meeting date, that will be October 21st. I think that's the Wednesday, right now.
No, November.
November. Yeah. All right, and seeing we're done doing business, we are adjourned.
Oh. Thank you.